Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero desnudarte a besos despacito. Firmo en las paredes de tu laberinto y hacer de tu cuerpo todo un manuscrito.
Yes, you've heard this song before. It's been number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100 chart for 14 weeks, making it the longest running number 1 on the chart so far this year. Today, we'll hear from one of its artists. Welcome to Latin Connection, Billboard's weekly podcast of all things Latin. Hello, my name is Leila Cobo, and today we'll talk about new acts, established artists, and of course, what's happening on the Billboard charts. It's been 14 weeks of Despacito. The song, performed by Puerto Rico's Luis Fonsi and featuring fellow Puerto Rican Daddy Yankee and Justin Bieber, is now officially the longest-running number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100 chart this year. That's an enormous feat for a song that began in Spanish. And today on Latin Connection, we'll be chatting exclusively with Daddy Yankee. But before we get there, a few interesting things happening this week. For the third consecutive week, Romeo Santos is number 1 on Billboard's Top Latin Albums chart with Golden. Now, Golden is a very interesting album because it is classic Romeo Santos. It is bachata through and through. So Romeo is keeping at number 1 by staying in his lane with his personal brand of bachata. In other words, while the entire Latin world seems to be singing some form of urban music, Romeo Santos is not. Golden does include a collab with Ozuna and another with both Daddy Yankee and Nicky Jam. But as Santos himself says, it's simply a taste of urban in his music. In his own words, and I quote, "It's not overwhelming. You won't say, wow, this guy is really trying to fit in with what's happening today. No, I have a brand, I have a sound that has a function for me, and I'm very confident about that. And I also let people, my fans, guide me. While they're appreciating what I do for them, I'm going to continue to give them more of that." Those were Romeo Santos' words in an interview we had with him 2 weeks ago in New York. And we are going to give you a taste of Romeo today. This is from his track, Tuyo, Yours, which is a great example of this album sound.
No lo niego. Tal vez me alimentaba el ego y fue mi error. No sé, en pocas palabras, de su ubicación. Yo soy tu de nadie, a pesar de las noches, mil aventuras pude curarme.
Elsewhere on the charts, many songs popping up from artists you may not have heard of. But these are artists who are making big dents in streaming and increasingly in downloads. One of them is Colombian Manuel Turizo. His song Una Lady Como Tú, A Lady Like You, has 75 million streams on Spotify. It's at number 40 this week on our Latin digital download chart, even though this song has had 0 airplay in the US. Let's take a listen.
Te voy a mentir, voy buscando una lady como tú la quiero así. Quiero que te enamores como estoy yo de ti. Acá se enviarte flores y en tu nombre escribir 1000 canciones de amores pa' que pienses en mí como yo pienso en ti.
Turizo has a great distinctive voice, and despite that very low baritone, he is, brace yourselves, 17 years old. So there's much, much more to come from this guy, especially because he doesn't even have an album yet. So these are all singles. He is signed to Nicky Jam's La Industria label, and he's released through Sony Music Latin. Keep your eyes out for Manuel Turizo. And finally, Despacito. Before we play our interview with Daddy Yankee, a little bit of history behind this track. As much has been written, and not all of it has been accurate. The song was originally written by Luis Fonsi. With his friend and longtime collaborator Erica Ender, they've been working together for about 10 years. Fonsi had come up with the Despacito phrase, and he told Erica that he wanted to do a song called Despacito, which means slowly. And they began writing one day, throwing ideas back and forth. For Ender, it was important to have lyrics that treated the woman in the song with respect. She had to be won over slowly. And so the two started to write, and the session went so well, says Ender, that at one point she went live on Facebook and said, "Guys, we have a hit." The song went through several arrangements. It originally featured Nicky Jam, but then Nicky Jam had to drop out because the release of the track conflicted with the release of his own album. At that point, Fonsi sent the song to Daddy Yankee, and Daddy Yankee loved it, and he said, "Cool, I'll jump on this track." But he made an important addition. That pre-chorus that says, "Pasito, pasito, suave, suavecito," I'm not going to attempt to sing here. That was Yankee's addition, in as well as his rapping, and that became the catchy pre-chorus. The song was released in its original Spanish version, Fonsi featuring Daddy Yankee, and it was an immediate hit. But then Bieber jumped on it, and that's when it rose to number 1 on the Hot 100. Now, how did Bieber jump on it? He was in Colombia, South America. He heard the song in a club, loved it, and immediately said, "I want to remix this track." The following day, he went to a studio in Bogota with a diction coach, and he recorded his English and Spanish language parts. Fonsi, Daddy Yankee, and the producers of the track have had nothing but positive things to say about the Bieber collaboration. In fact, I quote producer Mauricio Rengifo, who told me, and I quote, "I feel that the fact that he made an effort to sing in Spanish is a sign of respect toward our culture and our language. If he didn't care, he wouldn't have done it in Spanish." Now, as Despacito approaches yet another milestone, we caught up with Daddy Yankee. Here's what he had to say.
Pasito a pasito, suave suavecito, nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito. Cuando tú me besas con esa destreza.
Daddy Yankee. So Despacito has yet another record. You've tied Macarena, and now it seems like you're going to be the longest running song at number 1 on the Hot 100 in history. How does that feel?
Oh my God! Just commenting that is incredible. I never thought that that it would happen in Spanish, and having the greatest, probably the greatest song of all time in Hot 100 is incredible.
Now, you were telling me before that even though you've had huge hits before, Gasolina was a huge hit. This is actually a bigger hit, and what does it do for Latin music around the world?
Definitely send a message and a big statement that music have changed, and it's a multicultural thing right now when it comes to Latin music. It not only stops in Puerto Rico or the States. It's beyond cultures right now. It's the entire world that have access to our music, and it's a great feeling that I have when I travel the world. I'm able to see different people singing my songs in my language, and it's a blessing. I was in Israel, I was in Poland, I was in Belgium, I was in France, and Italy. Oh my God! There's so many countries and people singing along your song. It's an amazing feeling, because I remember that back in the day we used to be the guys that we were singing aloud a lot of songs of the American artists, and we didn't know what they were saying, but we had fun with the song and we loved them. And right now we're receiving the same feedback that they had back in the days. Is right now we're feeling the same, actually the same feeling that they felt on stage.
Now, what comes next for you? Because Despacito has been huge. I'm sure the entire world is calling you and saying, I want a remix, I want a song, I want you to produce. So what's up? What other song can we expect that combines Latin and mainstream?
Actually, that's been my recipe since day one, but in my language. And I think that's been part of the Daddy Yankee success, that even though you don't know where you're from, you love my music. Because I grew up listening to just American music, and besides salsa and merengue and all that, and rap music was so important to me, and reggae music and pop, that for some reason I have all those influences in me. And when I go to the studio, I create with those influences in my mind. And I'm able right now to work with every producer or every artist around the world. And when I go to the studio with them, they say, okay, Daddy Yankee, he's a pro. He know what he's doing.
Now, you told me you were doing something with Steve Aoki.
Yes, I'm working with Steve Aoki. I think Steve has a great single. It's called Azuquita. I think that record right there could really work around the world. I love that record, man. I told Steve personally that, you have a great song in your hands, man. They definitely could be a monster hit.
You don't stop, do you? I mean, last weekend you were over there in Orlando playing for the Zumba convention. I know you're doing stuff with Zumba. Despacito is, of course, where it is. You just got back from a European tour. Tomorrow you're going to Colombia. When do you chillax? Do you chillax?
Actually, I do. When I'm in Puerto Rico, of course, you need to chillax, for a moment. And I just take 2 weeks, 3 weeks off, and then I come back to road. It's just like that. But I don't know, for some reason when I'm chilling, I need to do this. I don't know. It gets to a point that I can't stop it. I got to go on the road. I have to record. I have to be on stage. It's something that you love, man. It calls passion, and I feel a lot of passion with what I do.
And finally, you've been married to your lovely wife, Mireddys, who's the CEO of your company, for 23 years, which I just love hearing that. What is the secret? What's the secret sauce for this marriage to last?
Oh my God! I mean, it's been a challenge. It's been a great ride with her, and I love her. She's my wife. And one thing that I have always had in my mind is that when you become a superstar, it's very difficult to find a real woman.
Someone who loves you for who you are and not for what you've become.
Exactly. Those are the correct words. And I met her before I was Daddy Yankee, so she's the right one. She loves Raymond Ayala. She's not in love with DY.
And finally, what do you say to all the Despacito fans?
Oh, I just want to say thank you to all of them, and way more from Daddy Yankee. There's a lot more to come.
Fantastic. Thank you and congratulations, my friend.
Muchas gracias. Gracias a toda mi gente. Agradecido. Very grateful for everybody's support.
And that's it for this week's edition of Latin Connection. This is Leila Cobo. See you all next week.